I personally think that you should go to India because India.
Okay.
How does your partner feel about this idea?
All right. So we should back up, and it's my work. My work wants me to go to India. And this is a huge debate right now.
Well, and my spouse who works at the same place, um, like they've tried to get her to go a couple times, but one of the things that they have said is that like when you go to India, you don't go for like a week. You go for at least a month because that's the only way to make it cost effective.
Yeah.
And the company has like houses over there and they set you up, but you're not going for a couple of days.
Yeah. So this trip would be for 2 weeks. So originally they approached me and they said, Jay, do you want to move to India for 3 years? Um, we would give you a pay raise. We would pay for your housing. We would pay for all of your bills. We would give you a food stipend. Literally, you would not have to pay for anything, and we'll give you a raise if you move to India.
Great way to just sock away cash for years.
Yeah, which, take India out of the equation, right? Like you would come back and be able to put a really nice down payment on a house. Like financially, this makes sense. From a business point of view, this makes sense.
For sure.
However, a lot of people get very sick when they go to India. We've had people that shouldn't lose weight lose like 10 pounds in a week and just come back and have to like take off 2 weeks because they're just so sick. My wife's a nurse, so she's like, you have to get all these shots. It's not a very just like hygienic place to go, let alone live there. Then you have like the trans side thing. They're not super into it. So like the 3 years thing, we're like, sorry, like we can't do that. So now it's like, okay, well, you need to go to India, like at least like every quarter or something. Like, can we just get you to India this one time for 2 weeks, see how this goes? But there's a huge discussion on safety. People that are there, the team in India are like, it's perfectly safe as long as you don't go out in public and you don't use public transportation. You'll be fine. Which that fucking sucks. So like literally just stay at the office, take a private taxi to the hotel, do not leave your hotel room, and you're just going hotel, office, come back. Then you should be fine as long as you don't stay in a sketchy hotel, should be fine. Cool. That's because I would like to explore India, not just be like shut up in a hotel room for 2 weeks.
Yeah, that does not sound fun.
No. So yeah, that's like a huge debate right now they want me to go in like the middle or the last 2 weeks of May. So literally the company right now is like trying to gather more data to see like how risky it is for me as a trans person to go to India.
I'll be honest, I don't know the answer to that question. I know that I watched that movie. Oh, what was that movie? Oh, what was it called? And speaking of trans stuff, hang on. Hang on. I got to do this now because it's going to bug me. And actually, because again, I can't speak as it's Dev Patel was in it. What was it called? And like, there's a whole trans subplot in this movie. So Dev Patel made this movie called Monkey Man, right? And it's this very John Wick kind of like.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
But
yeah,
there's a whole trans subplot in there where they make him into a better fighter.
Yeah.
It's this whole group of trans women in India who are like, we will train you, right? And they do. And that just popped into my head. I was like, oh, wait a minute.
So this is like what's very sad to me. So India has a very rich history of trans people. Like, so back in the day, evidently, as one of my friends who's Indian was telling me, the guardians of all of like the princesses, like the little special army that would form around like a princess and guard her, like those warriors, the only way to be that warrior was to be trans. So they have like the caste system. Some people literally were born into it and be like, we're going to raise you as like a trans person to protect the royal family. And then some people, like for religious reasons, would be trans, from my understanding. So like, because a lot of their gods are like both male and female. So for you to get closer to God, you transition. So they have this like, and I'm probably like butchering the shit out of this. Please, everyone go read it and study it yourself. But they have this really rich, like thousands of years old documented trans history. And you know who the fuck ruined it? The British, who like literally came in, took all of their property away, said, this is like sick, you can't do this, made it illegal to be trans, fucking killed it. And that's still kind of like lingering today. This is like white people. Like, why do like white people have to like ruin everything?
Well, I mean, the British just kind of wreck everything.
Yeah.
They wrecked a lot of it when they were out there in their colonial era. It was pretty fucking bad for a while there.
Yeah.
So, well, I mean, let them do their investigation. I hope that if they make you go, you don't have to sit in a hotel room for 2 weeks. That would be miserable as crap. Speaking of traveling, though, and we just got this one in the chat a couple seconds ago. The reason you weren't on the show the last couple of weeks, you were in Japan.
I was in Japan.
You were
That's
in
an
Japan. So since you were in Japan, why don't you talk to us a little bit about Japan, and you can tell us why you weren't here and why Japan was more important to you than this show.
Yeah, that's a great question. People from the audience, actually totally forgot to like log in. Okay.
Yeah, but no, seriously, somebody did mention it in the chat. So
yeah, so yeah, I went to Japan. I mean, I don't know, ever since I was a kid, like I always loved Japanese history, loved everything about Japanese culture. American history is just fucking boring. I'm sorry, some people are into it, but like, this is old, it's boring, it's all the same shit. I understand that it's important, whatever. But literally, so you're talking about like, oh, we threw the tea in the harbor. Go visit this like 100-year-old site. Ooh. And then you go into Japan, like, oh, this is a 2,000-year-old shrine where like the samurai would just freaking chop up people, and you're like, damn, that's sick. Like,
Japan, the last time I checked, and I will double check, Japan has the longest running unbroken monarchy in the world. It is unbroken, that we can tell, since at least the 6th century. This dynasty has lasted over 1,400 years.
Yeah. Yeah, literally.
The chrysanthemum throne.
I guess like, let me like backtrack a little bit. So what did I do in Japan? Endless fucking shrines and temples. By the way, like a shrine that is Shinto, you can always identify a shrine because there's a torii gate. Torii gates are like the red or orange. Red was, they were using lead paint, and then they switched to the orange gates, which they use rust to paint with now. But it's like, the two posts, and then you have like that one very signature sloped top.
Yeah,
like
I'm showing the chat right now. I'm showing in the stream. So
sweet.
That's what I'm here for.
Yeah. Yeah, if you know anything about Japan, you've seen this. So that is a shrine, and then a temple that is Buddhist. And typically you pass through a Sanmon gate. Basically just you'll have two massive pillars opening in the center. Sometimes in the center you'll have like a really giant, awesome lantern. And then typically in the two pillars, you would have some sort of deity that is like there to protect and ward off spirits. Learned like the proper way to wash your hands, cleanse yourself with smoke, be very polite, be very like respectful of the culture, how to pray properly to the deity of your choice. That was really cool. How to like get a fortune, how to read your fortune, what to do if you get a bad fortune, because the chances of you getting a good fortune is only 30%. But if you get a bad fortune, you literally tie it on this like little rack to the side, and then the monks or the priests or whatever will come and like burn it in a ceremony to get rid of your bad luck. Very interesting. Yeah, we did a lot of guided tours, like very small group guided tours. Obviously all with very local people. I will say this, like, don't go for these like massive tour groups, like go for like small little, either like private or very small groups, because what we were told is that like the Japanese people that do those groups are very excited and willing to do it because they want to practice their English, and there's not really a chance for them to practice English once they graduate from like a university. You just always speak Japanese. So they're really interested in like American culture. They want to speak English to you. And yeah, just obviously they're super knowledgeable of everything that they're telling you about. Let's see. I might be mixing it up with China. Weren't there some points where someone rewrote history and made themselves part of the royal family after winning a war? Yeah, I don't know that one.
I'm not 100% on that, but again, it's recognized globally as the longest running unbroken monarchy on the planet. It's lasted 1,400 years, and I know that. And they still have an emperor, and they still get the emperor's birthday off. And there was some panic a while ago because the emperor wasn't having male children, and there was a whole thing about this, and so, but they're good now, right? The chrysanthemum throne will continue. So they again, yeah, they still have an emperor. He doesn't have any political power anymore. All that's held by the Japanese Diet and the prime minister. But that was a change that was made after World War II, when the emperor surrendered to the United States at the close of World War II. Did you get to go to any of those places? Did you go to like Hiroshima or Nagasaki?
No. I did go to the Emperor's Palace.
Oh, really?
Like historical place that's been like, I don't know, thousands of years. Like the Emperor like stays in, and I think, pretty sure they even said like the current Emperor lives in. That was really cool because they still have. So you pass through. Obviously, like the Emperor's like over here on one side, and you're only like over here on one side. But you pass through like the historical gates. And you're like, you go through the checkpoints. So they're like, this is the first checkpoint where your like low level samurai would clear you, and you would move to the second checkpoint. You would have like higher level samurai like clear you. And you have like the third checkpoint, which is where the ninjas were.
Everybody loves ninjas.
Which, by the way, our tour guide was telling us like, Americans think like ninjas are always like, in black and running on rooftops and assassins. And they're like 90% of ninjas were just spies. That's what they were doing, is like
they were just dudes. Yep.
And yeah, sometimes assassinate people, but like not dressed in black typically. Something I found really interesting. Do you know the TV show Shogun?
Yes, I do. I love that show.
Love it. They're making season 2, by the way.
Yes, they are.
I think they just started filming in January, I want to say. But so we asked, we're like, hey, have you seen Shogun? Like, how legit is Shogun? And they're like, this is the most legit thing you can watch. Like, this is, yep, This is
Hiroyuki
it.
Sanada and the team there, they did a lot, especially with this rebooted version of Shogun, because obviously there was the original James Clavell novel, and then uh, the '80s miniseries that they did that was based on Clavell's novel, and then they rebooted it under Hulu with the one that we all just watched with Hiroyuki Sanada. But yeah, I know they did a lot to try and make it as reasonably accurate as they could.
Yeah.
So
And what they said was like a big part of it is like having a majority Japanese cast, because they're like, there's something that it's just like in the blood of the Japanese, like how you move, like how you act, like the micro expressions that you do, that like when a foreigner like actor, no matter like how much you study it, like you're just not ever going to have that like Japanese essence, even if you look like you're Japanese. But like, you know, that was another thing that they talked about, was like you can just tell like everyone is Japanese by how they like how they talk and how they move, which is kind of interesting.
yeah, absolutely. Um,
Uh,
so all in all, what was your favorite like city, like location? Were you guys all over the place, or did you stick close to Tokyo? Like, what was your?
yeah. So we split up our time between like staying. We stayed in Airbnb in Kyoto, and then we stayed in a hotel in Tokyo because our Airbnb didn't really work out in Tokyo. Rip. But then we moved around a lot. So we went out to like Mount Fuji. We went out to the countryside to see the snow monkeys. So we were taking like either private transport or trains kind of all over the place, but we'd always come home. We would always come at the end of the day back to either Tokyo or Kyoto.
Um, we have a question in the chat. Did you see the giant Gundam? I know the answer to this
Oh,
question because it was the first communication you sent me once you had arrived in Japan. How tall is that freaking thing? No, the giant Gundam. I'm gonna hold this
yeah.
up.
So this is the. Oh, that's horrible.
Yeah.
You can tell that. So this is the Gundam that's outside. By the way, the unicorn.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure if okay. I took a lot of pictures. I need to like
You
share
only
them.
sent me Gundam pictures. That was the only pictures you sent me. You sent me pictures of a giant Gundam. So let me ask questions about the giant Gundam. How tall is the giant Gundam?
It's life size.
So it's like 50 feet tall?
Fuck. I don't. Was it 20 or 30 meters tall? I will say this. I took a selfie with it. I'm 6'1". The top of my head is the top of the foot of the Gundam.
Jesus.
Yeah.
That is a giant Gundam.
You look up at it and like literally like sent chills down my spine. I was like, holy shit, this is a real Gundam. Like, holy crap. Like, it was pretty sick. And we actually by accident got there just as they did this like little like show.
Okay.
Which is where like the Unicorn Gundam, because it's like closed. It actually like kind of opens up and then like it goes into like the I don't know, the non-unicorn. It has the two the two things. Its face max changes, and then like the body panels kind of open up and it's the what is it, like the burning Gundam,
Okay.
destroy mode Gundam.
Okay.
Like it'll like light red and shit. Really cool. Holy crap. But yeah, went to the Gundam base there. Bought fucking model Gundam. So, you know, maybe we do a spinoff where I just rattle off about fucking random shit as you watch me build my Gundam. I don't know. Maybe that's a thing. Yeah, definitely have to load up pics, Dog Dad. I'll post them in the Discord server.
Yeah. I'm going to see if I can bring up a couple, but let me
I'm gonna
give me a minute. I'm working on it.
I sent you. Yeah. Okay. So I sent you some good ones. So other things that we did, we went to the Penis Festival. That's not the official name, by the way. Very historical festival. where you're actually like celebrating like fertility, but you leave like one sacred location hoisting these giant penises, and the whole area is going nuts, and there's thousands of people. And there was like a woman that was like blessing the penises and stuff. Yeah, there's the Gundam. Look at that. That thing is so. Look,
And you can see the little people at the bottom. They're little people right down here, right there. The little tiny people. That thing is freaking massive.
It's life size. Like it's a 1-to-1 replica of Gundam. Like I don't know. If you're ever in Japan and you're a Gundam fan, or if you're not even a Gundam fan, you like giant robots, or you just like anime in general, or you're just a boring person, whatever your thing is, go fucking see the Gundam. Like that thing is like life changing. Like I cannot stress to you how amazing seeing
the giant Gundam is.
Yeah, like looking up and just being like, holy shit. Like I seriously, Alex, I think we've talked about this before. If our military came out and we're like, we built Gundams, I would enlist.
Just to pilot a Gundam.
Yeah, not under this administration because I don't think I'm allowed to, but I would fucking enlist somewhere somehow.
So you could go pilot a Gundam.
I would sell my soul to pilot a Gundam, which, oh god. Anyways,
so again, kind of home based in around Tokyo or Kyoto, but bouncing around, riding the bullet train, I presume, right, to get places. Worthwhile trip. Did Logan enjoy themselves?
Yeah. So it was my wife and my sister-in-law and her fiance. Everyone enjoyed themselves. I was exhausted. I stayed up like 2 nights before this trip to try to like knock out as much schoolwork as I could. So I hit the trip exhausted.
Are you a plane sleeper? Because I have this discussion with my wife frequently, right? And this is just, it's old, like habit and training kicking in. I hit a plane and I can do that. I'm out, right? Like I can sleep anywhere. And on a plane, my brain just goes, you are flying, sleep now. That's just, it's what my brain does. If you're not messing with me, I will zonk the F out. But are you a plane sleeper? Are you one of those people like my wife who we've done, again, like cross Pacific flights, and that's what we're talking about. You're going to Tokyo, where it's like, dude, we've been on this plane for 11 hours. Haven't you slept? No. So are you a plane sleeper?
No, our plane was 10 hours. I did not sleep. But I brought my like ROG Ally handheld, which is like a Steam Deck, but not. So I actually brought an Xbox controller, put in noise canceling headphones, and I was like playing video games for probably like 5 or 6 hours straight until I got kind of like tired of doing that and switched over to like watching stuff on the airplane, which they have like the first 3 episodes of Shogun on the plane. So I like rewatched the first 3 episodes.
That's a good way to spend some time.
Yeah, it's great. I definitely love that show. Yeah, I can't sleep on a plane.
So you're like my wife. Now I will say this, and we're gonna move on. I see you guys talking about trailers and stuff, and we'll chat about that in a little bit. This is gonna be a weird show tonight, so fucking we love you, but suck it up. So my wife went out of town last weekend, and I don't know if she told you, but she had the absolute, like, straight up, I only see this shit in comedy bits, experiences on a plane, right? On her way to and back from the East Coast, right? So on her way out there, she had a woman who had the upgraded seat, and just bitched the whole way out to the East Coast that they weren't giving her this perk and they weren't doing this perk and they weren't doing this perk. And let me tell you, you're horrible, Alaska, and I'm never going to do it again, and da-da-da-da-da. And then my wife, by the way, another funny thing that my wife, and I'm going to say this, so my wife, before she leaves, she goes, oh, I downloaded the last 3 episodes of Ted Lasso and Sinners onto my iPad so I could watch them on the way to the East Coast. And I said, that's great. Tell me what you think of Sinners. You know, Michael B. Jordan got an Academy Award, right? I really am curious. She texts me about halfway through her flight. She goes, you didn't tell me this was a vampire movie? And I was like, how has this movie been out for a year and you didn't know it was a vampire movie? Like,
oh God.
But what's the side to this is the Karen she was sitting next to on the plane apparently spotted her watching Sinners and griped to the flight attendant about it not being appropriate. And it's not like my wife was sitting next to children or anything. This is a grown adult woman who's like in her 60s, and she's griping to the flight attendant about my wife watching Sinners. So she didn't get to finish the movie on the plane. And then on the way back, she got sat next to a rather large man in the middle seat who refused to put on his seatbelt for minutes. And then he finally did put on his seatbelt when the stewardesses were yelling at him. And then the minute they walked away, he unhooked his seatbelt, right? And then proceeded to fall asleep and snore for the entire flight. I was like, how? I was like, once in a while, I'll get kind of a bad seatmate, right? But it's usually like one leg of a trip, not both. Like, I don't get miserable on both ends of the spectrum. Like, how did that happen to you? Also, she didn't know Sinners was a vampire movie, which baffles me.
What did she think the movie was about?
I don't know.
Just like,
I mean, and to be fair, the first like half of the movie, you don't know there's vampires.
That's fair. Yes.
It's very like period PC, kind of cool for the first 70 minutes of the movie.
But I want to say like the trailer had vampire. Like I'm pretty sure I watched the trailer and I was like, yeah, we're going to go see the vampire movie, Sinners.
I don't remember at this point, but I did think it was funny when she was just like, this is a vampire movie? Like, yes.
Dear God. Also, I mean, I will say there's always like questionable content on the airplane movie. Like you can find at least like one movie or show where you're like, I don't know if I should.
I found ones that were on the Alaska app that have nudity and stuff in them.
Yeah.
Like I was watching The Big Short and I forgot, you know, on a plane.
Yeah. I'm not going to lie. Like one time I was flying and I was like, you know what? Like I want to rewatch Cyberpunk. Like I'm going to like download all the episodes in Cyberpunk.
Oh yeah.
Like, I was like, oh fuck. I don't know if I can be watching this on a plane.
I mean, maybe if you have the window seat and you're kind of like turned away.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I've had some funny experiences on planes, but yeah, I mean, never have I had the bad ones back to back. Since somebody brought up trailers, there's one trailer I do want to talk about. Again, we're going to be kind of bouncing around, right? But I think this one is the most important one that's been released from CinemaCon this week, right? Okay. If you guys remember from the original Spaceballs, Yogurt teased Spaceballs 2, The Search for More Money, right? Well, they've apparently decided to not call it that.
40 years ago, a promise was made.
Yes.
God willing, we'll all meet again in Spaceballs 2. The search for more money. Money, you know?
Yep.
Hold it. Wait a minute. It's me.
By the way,
Mel Brooks.
can we point out the fact that Mel Brooks is still alive? Okay.
That's fine.
We're gonna look this up. How old is he now? He's 99. He's literally 99 years old. He turns 100 in June. Look at this guy. But watch him. He is just...
I have a major announcement.
He looks good.
Spaceballs 2.
For 99?
For more money.
Can I look like that when I'm 9? Can I live to 99?
The title of this movie. Why not? Because after all these years, I found the money.
He found the money.
There it is, the money. It was in my basement. But everywhere I go, people say, Mel, where's the new Spaceballs? When are you going to make the new Spaceballs? When are you going to make the new one? Well, we did it. And the title is Spaceballs, the new one. It's just like the old one, but it's newer. That's why it's called the new one. There you have it. I'll see you at the movies.
Oh my God.
I absolutely love Mel Brooks. Again, can we just revel in the fact that that dude is 99 years old? Right?
That's crazy.
And still kicking around and appears to be more lucid than our president. At 99. Just pointing that out there. Right? He turns 100 in like 2.5 months. Right? So I've got my love out for Mel Brooks. Bill Pullman and Lewis Pullman are coming back. So Lewis Pullman, who you guys might know from Top Gun Maverick and Thunderbolts, right, is the son of Bill Pullman, who was in the original Spaceballs. They're both coming back for Spaceballs 2. And again, I don't know how big of a dump truck of money Amazon had to roll up to Rick Moranis' house. He hasn't acted in anything. He retired a long time ago, but he is coming back as Dark Helmet. Okay. I'm excited for this movie. I need a new Spaceballs. Okay. Jay, what do you think? Are you glad they changed the title from The Search for More Money to just the new one?
I like it. It's funny. I mean that's Spaceballs. Yeah, I fucking enjoy it. Like, fucking troll us. Like, when are you gonna make the new one? Okay, well, I made the new one. Shut up and leave me alone.
There's now the new one, and he's coming back as yogurt.
God, that's funny. But yeah, I don't know. I'm happy.
One of the reasons we're not doing a lot of trailer coverage this week is some of them have not been released to the internet yet. So like, they did premiere the Doomsday trailer at CinemaCon today, right? But it has not been released to the internet yet. Word is they're not releasing it until next week. They did a new Supergirl one. It has not been released. They've really, the trailers that have been dropped are pretty light. The Street Fighter trailer, which I am deeply... The new Street Fighter trailer I like a lot. I hate Guile's hair. I'm sorry. I know it looks very video game-ish accurate, but it looks bad. I'm sorry. It just does. They released a new Mandalorian and Grogu trailer today. I didn't like the trailer, but I did watch Campia's recap of the Disney presentation today, and apparently they showed the first 17 minutes of the whole film. They showed the first 17 minutes, and apparently it opens really, really well. It's very good. And I trust Campia. Again, there's been a lot of weird news coming out of there. A lot of stuff where I'm like, why? We got a new trailer for Fokker-in-Law, which is the new Fokker movie with Ben Stiller and De Niro. I don't know why they're making this movie. I don't know. Like, do you care about the Fokkers anymore, Jay?
No, but I mean, like, I would watch it. But like, yeah, it's not like something that I was like, oh, I can't wait for the next movie to come out.
Yeah. I mean, again, it's really hard to get into CinemaCon. It is not a fan event. So getting tickets, even if you buy tickets, they can deny you. They can say no. Wow. Unless you're an industry person. It is not a fan event. It is an industry event. Disney came out on their presentation today and apparently mic dropped everybody They were like, of the $51 billion films, 37 of them are under the Disney banner because we're Disney and fuck you. Apparently during Warner Brothers presentation, they did not mention Paramount at all and the buyout. Paramount wouldn't shut the fuck up about Warner Brothers because their one movie that they were going to basically release this year got hacked. So the new Avatar movie hit the internet. The Avatar Last Airbender movie, it's out. It's in the wild. And they had already pulled it from a theatrical release.
Shit.
Yeah. So it's a mess. Apparently the new Dune stuff looks good. Again, Warner Brothers is like, haha, we killed it last year. And they did. We covered that extensively on this channel about how well Warner Brothers did last year. They crushed it. But yeah, and apparently they showed off the Doomsday trailer at CinemaCon for the theater owners. For those that don't know, Cinema United is the industry organization, right? And for anybody that's in business, every industry has like an industry org, right? Like security has as is, right? The American Society of Industrial Security, right? I'm sure there's one for engineers. Is there like a big engineering professional organization?
Oh yeah, there's quite a few.
Yeah. If you are a movie theater owner, it is Cinema United. So Cinema United is the one that, does this. So every year out in Las Vegas, they do CinemaCon. And that's where literally like companies that make popcorn machines are like, here, I come to CinemaCon and I show the movie theater owners this new fangled popcorn machine that does the better, three times better, right? They do a big trade show, right? So it's new projectors and sound systems and all the stuff that goes into running a fucking movie theater. This is what it's for. And I like how Campia put it today in that he was like, really the studio presentations are almost the least important part of the actual convention because it's really for the movie theater owners to do their business, right? The studios are out there convincing movie theaters to give them screens, right? Hey, look what we're putting out. Give us screens, you clowns, right? And so the studios do big presentations every year, and it's always, that's kind of the most newsy part of CinemaCon. But they're really tight on security, so you won't see leaks, right? Like you're not going to see somebody who snuck a cell phone into the Disney presentation and got a picture of that Doomsday trailer. It's not going to happen. It's not like Hall H stuff where you'll see it leak like the day after. I'm trying to think if there was anything else really interesting. I mean, nothing we don't really know about. Right? There's some smaller movies that are coming that people are looking forward to. Again, I'm not looking forward to the Street Fighter movie. It looks worse. I don't know. Oh, Disney did mention something. They are not moving Doomsday.
Oh shit.
Which I am surprised about a little bit. And I honestly, can I be honest?
Yeah.
I think it's stupid. I think it's fucking dumb. I don't see how you have two releases the scale of Dune 3 and Doomsday the same weekend in December.
Yeah.
You're cannibalizing your own audience.
Yeah.
And also, both Dune 3, and this is the part, and these theaters are going to be running 24 hours a day. Why?
Yeah.
Because both Dune 3 and Doomsday are going to be in the 3-hour range. Right? And the thing that people forget about when you're talking about how movies schedule, right? And Jay, I think you'll be able to follow here, right? So you have when the movie is scheduled, then you have the trailers, then you have the film itself, right? Then you've got to build in a block for your people to go in and clean the damn theater before the next showing. So on a 2-hour movie, you're probably in a 3-hour time block where that theater is locked down, right? Can't do anything else with it. On a 3-hour movie, you're talking about 4 hours. So you lose, so 24, even if you're running 24 hours a day, 24 divided by 3 is 8. 8 showings a day. 24 divided by 4-hour blocks is 6. 6 showings a day, which means you have less opportunity to show the same fucking movies. And you're not adding chairs. I really think this is a bad idea. I really do. Jay, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah.
Jumanji moved and left the 11th of December wide open.
Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure we covered this.
We talked about it because there was word that they had been discussing moving Doomsday.
Yeah.
But apparently Disney confirmed they're not.
We
even the theater owners asked them to move it.
Yeah. And we talked about why this worked for Barbie and Oppenheimer, because those are two completely different audience groups. Yeah, you have crossover. You always have crossover, but the family that's going to go watch Barbie, probably, not 100% of them are going to want to go watch Oppenheimer. It just doesn't work that way. But I don't know. Maybe they're just testing something out. They're just testing how stupid they can be.
I don't know what they're thinking. Somebody in the chat asked if Sony movie chief, I'd seen Sony movie chief Tom Rothman. This is again where you get back to CinemaCon as an industry event. So it's executives talking to other executives. And yes, the head of Sony movie chief Tom Rothman did tell the movie theaters, dude, you guys got to get off these 30-minute ad trailer runs, right? Mm-hmm. Jay and I joke about this all the time. I don't need to see Nicole Kidman again. I don't want to see that fucking Coca-Cola commercial again. You know the one I'm talking about where it's the couple and they drive and then they dance and then they stand in the rain and drink Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
I don't need that.
You know who also does it?
What's that?
You know who also does it?
Who?
I realize this. Fucking airlines.
Oh,
Japan. I'm stuck on the fucking plane. I can't go anywhere. And I'm going to watch 12 fucking ads. Well, I mean, an ad every time you want to watch something on their fucking TV service, advertising their airline. And I'm like, I'm here. What the fuck?
Stop telling me to come on your airline. I'm here. Yeah. So yeah, Sony chief Tom Rothman was like, guys, you got to get it down from 30 minutes. Right. And honestly, the other thing he talked about in that speech was, and I think Jay, you and I go see quite a few movies together. Obviously we review a bunch for the show. But here's the deal. When we go see a movie, they show 6 or 7 trailers. By the time we start the movie, I don't remember all the trailers they showed me. I remember maybe 1 or 2. Maybe. Right? And that's if there's one that's particularly oh, okay, that looks good. Right? What about you, Jay? Do you remember all the trailers? By the time I leave the theater, I forgot the trailers.
Yeah, so we actually talk about this in marketing. You have to, and there's an art to it. And obviously some people are a lot better at it than other people. And some people disregard this and they don't see the value of this. But if you want a consumer to, and just, I don't know, just remember your fucking brand in general, outside of even movies, you have to connect on multiple different levels with that consumer. You have to connect with them emotionally. You have to connect with them. I don't know. There's a whole fucking list. The more times that you can connect with your consumer on a different level, the more likely they are to, in your case, leave a movie theater and be like, oh yeah, I don't know, Street Fighter is amazing, right? But if it's just some, I don't know, high school project where they just fucking threw a trailer together, you're gonna forget about it. And then you just wasted your fucking I don't know, your slot for your advertisement.
Well, and then they send 7 of them at us.
Yeah.
in rapid fire.
And that's the thing is like you're competing with the other 6, right? Like you want your trailer to be the trailer that Alex remembers once he leaves that movie theater.
Yeah, no, for sure.
And after watching a 2-hour movie.
And after watching a 2-hour movie, right?
So,
VT Pilot said in the chat, had to pay for first class to skip the ads. I can't even imagine how much a first class ticket to Japan costs. Were you in like...
I looked it up.
How much was it? Because you wanted to.
Yeah.
It's 10 hours on a plane, and that's rough in economy.
It's 10 hours on a plane. I will say, Japan Air, their economy, you have a lot more leg room.
You were a tall person.
Yeah. So I'm a tall person. I was perfectly fine in economy in Japan Air. I'm not fine in a Delta flight economy. Japan Air economy, you're fine. You're good for like 10 hours. So economy is really good. And I do like that about Japan Air. But no, so obviously we booked our tickets like, I don't know, 36 moons ago or some crazy crap. So when we got closer, I was like, hey, like, let me look at like upgrading our seats, you know, because it is 10 hours. No, like on top of the price that we've already paid, I want to say it was like something crazy, like $4,000 more per ticket to upgrade to first class for like one way. And I was like, oh, no, that's not happening.
You realize
do you know how many Gundams that is, Alex?
That is a lot of Gundams.
By the fucking store.
So you realize if you start to travel a lot for work, which I used to travel a lot for work, a lot. One of the things you will realize as you travel, you start to be a heavy traveler. And this is for my friends out there that don't travel as much. There are 2 types of people who live in first class, right? And I'm mostly talking about domestically, but this applies, right? One is business travelers who travel a lot because they rack up miles on somebody else's dime and use those miles to upgrade, okay, for their longer flights. They will put up with an economy flight on a trip from San Francisco to Seattle and just not give a crap because it's 2 hours, right, to rack the miles for that trip that they've got to make from Seattle to New York. And they're like, yeah, I'm going to burn the 15,000 miles it costs me to go first class. The other type of people are rich people who aren't like private jet wealthy, right? But who are wealthy enough to go, I am willing to pay an extra $2,000 to fly first class from Seattle to New York. Okay, that is worth it to me, right? I personally don't understand the people who fly first class to like Vegas from here because it's like 3 hours, like fucking who cares? I am less about class necessarily, but you pointed out something really smart, Jay. JAL, even in economy, nice leg room, different kind of experience.
Yeah.
I, as opposed to class, am picky about airlines. Right? I will not fly Southwest. I won't do it.
Yeah.
I will not fly Spirit. I won't do it. Right? My 2 go-tos are Alaska and United. Are you putting together a Gundam during the stream? Stop putting together Gundams during the stream.
I'm not putting together. I'm listening. What were you saying about, your airlines?
Yeah. Do you have a go-to? Do you have ones that you won't fly where you're just like, F that? I don't want to die.
So I used to work for a travel agency. And I was, during my time there, I pretty much eventually did everything. Like I started off in customer service. I was a sales agent. I was a sales manager. I was shift manager. I did trainings. I was a manager for training. I then led like the call center. Was in charge of like a Jamaican call center as well. Like, so I moved around a lot. So I got to see a lot of different aspects of the travel agency, or the industry. So you have what's called LLCs, or wait, Yeah, LCCs, low cost carriers, which are like your Spirit Airlines. That's the only one I can think of right now, just because fucking you said it. But these are like horrible, like, yes, like you would sell them to people. Yes, like, your backpacker that just wants to get to Europe, and then they're going to sleep in like a yurt and they're just backpacking.
20-year-old kid who's going there for the summer between sophomore and junior year.
They don't care.
Yeah.
Right. No one cares. Everyone else fucking cares. And so I would just hear all these horror stories of, your low cost carriers. And so every time when we talk about like booking a flight on a low cost carrier, I get anxiety because I like go back into that, like, oh, we're going to die. This is going to be bad.
But yeah, are there any carriers you won't use? Are there any ones where you're like, I don't care how much it costs. I'm not getting on this plane.
So we try, like, I like to think of it just like the airlines that I do fly with. And I don't try to like go outside of that. Like, we fly like Alaskan and like Delta primarily. Like, that's it, like, period. Mm-hmm. Japan Airlines, I mean, you don't have a whole lot of options going to Japan unless you want like 50 million fucking layovers and you're going to get there 3 days later.
I know Alaska runs a direct from here to Tokyo. I don't think United does. I know Alaska does, and I know JAL does, and that's the only ones I know of.
I think there's a Hawaiian Airlines.
Hawaiian is owned by Alaska now.
Oh shit! Okay, well, there you go.
Alaska bought Hawaiian Airlines. Yeah. Well, I'm glad to hear that JAL's nice. So, yeah, it's people who can afford to fly first class regularly are wealthy enough to not care about the money.
Yeah. And yeah, if I racked up a shit ton of points off of, I don't even know if I would do that, Alex. Like, let's say I do end up going to India every single month for 2 weeks at a time, and I just rack up fucking points. I think I would rather want like a free flight somewhere versus like upgrading to first class.
Yeah, and sometimes that's good. Like my trip to Atlanta last year, mine was basically free, right? Because I used nothing but points on my flight. So it is nice to get a free flight where you're just like, and I pay no money.
Yeah.
So the two non-contiguous airlines should be together. Alaska and Hawaiian, yes, because they are non-contiguous. Yeah, there you go. Somebody's talking about transferring miles that when their brother passed away. Yeah, there's cool, dude. I know people that leave miles to people because you can will miles accounts.
That's crazy.
Some people rack up a lot of miles. Like, they fly a lot. Hell, some of these jobs I'm applying for, they're like 50% travel. Like, you're going to be gone 2 weeks a month. Like, you will fly out every other Monday, and you'll be back every other Thursday. Like, it's bananas. So, speaking of which, have I mentioned how much I hate job hunting? Let me tell you how much I hate job hunting and how much everyone else hates job hunting right now. If you go on LinkedIn, it is like a cavalcade of people who hate job hunting and hate hiring. Actually, this might be a fun topic. So maybe we'll jump down this, and I'll be curious what your MBA brain does with this. So I have gotten into like 3 debates on LinkedIn in the last little bit, right? About ATS systems, which for the uninitiated is an applicant tracking system, right? And so when you go to a company's website and you're like, I'd like to apply for this job, you go into what's called an ATS. Now, ATSs have always used some sort of predictive thing or rudimentary AI, but that's really, it's jumped, right? Their usage of AI has gone bananas, right? And so now it's become this arms race, right? Of the companies are using AI to cull candidates faster, right? And so now The job applicants, everybody's using AI with a specific look to beating the AI of the ATS system. So it's like a who can rack their AI up better. Recruiters complain because with Easy Apply and these AI hiring systems, application systems, they'll put up a job posting and get 700 resumes, which takes any normal person a bit. So like we have to use an ATS, we have to use AI because nobody can read 700 resumes, right? It's not practical, right? Yeah. Which I understand to a degree, right? But I tell you, we are in this situation between, somebody in the chat's like, we hired for one position, 400 applications, right? And I would guarantee you that 300 of them are not qualified at all. They're just mass applying, right? How do we, because I posted my idea earlier today on LinkedIn. We'll talk about that. But what do we do in this arms race of AI applicant tracking systems culling candidates and AI being used to redo resumes, to do everything else? Like, what would you do? Right? I hand you the magic wand. What is the solution here? Because I tell you, between the Oracle layoffs and everything else that's going on, the market's in crap, the Trump administration has completely fucked the economy. Applicants are losing their minds. And then again, I see it on the other side where every recruiter I see at a company is like, dude, I can't. I get 500 resumes for every application. What do you want me to do? And I empathize with that, with their position of, and I just came out of a position where I was hiring and I would post a position and I wouldn't get 500, but I'd get like 50 resumes over a weekend, 30 of which are in no way qualified for the job. Like, why did you apply for this? Did you read it? Right? So what if I handed you the magic wand? What do you think we do here in this AI arms race for finding candidates?
So old school, when I worked for a travel agency, before AI, in the dark times, I guess, we would get like 500 people apply. HR would like narrow that down somehow to like the top 200. And then I got for me, I just had to be super picky. Like I would go through like, okay, like who has some sort of, for instance, like sales experience. Sweet. You guys don't, sorry. You go through and you're like, who has employment gaps that can't be explained from their resume? So like if you took 6 years off and you weren't in college, gone. Spelling errors, which sucks because I'm like the world's worst speller, gone. And then that typically gets you down to like, 25 resumes, and then you can be super picky and call in your top 10. That's how I used to do it when I was a hiring manager. I have today, I'm pretty sure it was Microsoft when I toured R&D for Microsoft through the MBA program. That was like one of the questions, and I was like, how do we get our resume in front of someone? You have to use AI, like flat out. If you're not using AI, your resume will never fucking see the light of day. And through my college, we have like a free, membership to this tool where you can upload your resume, select a link for the job that you're applying for, and it'll give you a score and tell you what your resume is missing and how to like put that into your resume.
Yeah.
So one, like you have to do that. So that's like the bare minimum. And then once you include everything that AI tells you to include, then you include a little bit of like your wow factor, like what sets you apart. Like, what is your brand? Oh God, that sounds disgusting. I'm just like throwing up MBA shit now. But like, I don't know. So like for me, oh, you're an engineer. Oh, you worked on AI in your senior design. But you're also like a project manager. So like you have a technical background, you're a project manager, AI, that's your strong suit. Make sure that's like highlighted in your resume. So yeah, what was the question again?
How do we kill the arms race Because that's what I'm
Oh,
seeing
sure.
from both sides. Being back out in the market is, again, all these AI tools. You have these AI application tools. All this stuff means that if I want to, and I'm gonna be let's be fucking upfront, right? So I have a subscription to Claude because I found Claude to be a little better on its outputs than ChatGPT. Okay, so I have Claude. So when I find a job that I'm interested in, much like the service you're talking about, I take the job description, the entire thing, including the company and everything about it. I feed it into Claude, and I go, Claude, what do you think? Should I go? And I would say a full 40% of the time, Claude will be like, don't. Right? You can see this in here. This is going to be a hard screen out, and you just don't have it, so don't bother. Right? But if it's like, oh no, this is a good match. Do you want me to redo your stuff with an ATS optimizer? And it will take the job description. It has 15 copies of my resume plus all the ones it's built itself as memory, right? And I'll be like, yep, build me a new one. And it will, in about 4 minutes, crap me a new ATS optimized resume for that job. And then I apply. So it's an arms race, right? How do we stop the arms race? How do we find that middle ground where we can go back to an era where people don't feel like they're just screaming into the void? Because the biggest thing I hear from myself and other people who are applying is we feel like we're screaming into a black hole because we don't know what's happening on these ATS AI systems. And everything I hear from recruiters is we have to use these because if we don't, we have 900 resumes per position to sort manually if we don't use AI. Which, fair, right? So how do we stop that arms race?
No, that's easy.
Go.
Fucking EMP.
Just destroy the whole fucking thing.
it, yeah, so my thought process here is okay, yes, you're going to have to use the tools that are available today. You have to. The WSU one that we use, by the way, is wisedoc.io. That seems to be really good. But but in today's world where everyone's using AI and you also have to use AI, you need to shine with your personality skills, right? You need to show people that you can communicate.
But how do you get that past the
people.
ATS system? That's another one that I've run into, right? Because the ATS is evaluating a series of criteria, right? How do you both get it past the ATS and then get it in front of a human, get them to buy onto it, right?
And this is where often it's who you know that gets you your job. And you have to find out a way to penetrate this I don't know, this group, right? So for instance, when I was in electromagnetics, our professor was because I think someone asked that, they were how the fuck do I get a job in this? It's rare, small number of people are going to get a position, but everyone's going to apply. And our professor who went to MIT was you have to look at what they're doing. So for instance, electromagnetics, he was most people that are in this industry, their hobby is ham radio license. And they will have these groups, these little meetups, and they'll even have these silly little competitions of who can find these little transmitter devices in a forest or some crap. If you join that and you get your ham radio license and you get to know this group, as long as they like you, they're going to tell you. They're going to be hey, a position just opened up, Alex. Do you want to apply for it? I know the hiring manager. So yeah, it's kind of you have to, and for instance, how I got offered a job as a research engineer for the Air Force, which I really wanted, but I just didn't want it to be in Florida. I kind of have had a really good resume of building orgs my college, and the dean approached me and was like, "Hey, we have this outside group that wants to create a charter here at our university. Like there's charters all over the United States, college level and professional level. You are really good at this. Can you create our college's version?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." That was the Society of American Military Engineers. Not a military person, but I was the founder and president.
How did you get to where you're like the job you have now? Was it through somebody you knew?
No, that was Quidditch.
What? You caught the snitch and they gave you a job?
No. So that one I used a recruiting service. So originally I was a contractor. But when I interviewed, there was like a test. There was a shit ton of questions. They were testing your knowledge as an engineer. The people that I interviewed with that hired me were like, as soon as you left, we were like, fuck, this is our person. Like no one got that many questions. We liked your personality. But they're like, on your resume, the thing that like really caught our eye when we were looking at resumes to like who to interview, you had, and this was like fresh out of college, right? So like, they're like, you had all this shit. You created the Society of American Engineers charter for your university. You created a college club to build tiny houses for homeless veterans. You led this initiative in Guatemala. You did blah, blah, blah. And they're like, also, you fucking were on the Quidditch team for your university? And I was like, yeah, that was, like, kind of weird, right? But it showed them, they're like, this is not some like dork who like just can do equations and can't like connect with people. Like
what we've learned is that Jay is an overachiever. And we should all feel bad about ourselves.
No, I used to be an overachiever. Now I'm fucking tired. The sun is not here. I feel like Superman. There's no sun. I'm drinking like so much coffee every day and I'm just burned out. And I just want to like,
yeah. So one of the comments in chat is the only solution is nepotism. I hate to say it. I hate to say it, but it appears to me that, yeah, the only solution right now is the most, sorry, let me rephrase this. The most effective solution right now is know somebody. If you know somebody, you can get your resume in front of a human being, right? Beyond that, it's just dumb fucking luck. Yeah. So basically what I'm hearing from Jay is we can't end. It's down to networking. And by the way, you brought this up earlier, and every time I hear this, I want to pull my hair out. Especially when it comes to job hunting. Because I get this a lot from like TikTok too, because there's a lot of like jobby stuff on TikTok. Your brand, build your personal brand. I don't want to have to do brand management to get a fucking job. I don't want to do it. I'm sorry. I don't know why I need, and I had somebody say this to me last week, and I'm actually doing it. I went and redid my entire LinkedIn profile yesterday because they're like, because I'm talking to them. This person is trying to help me. We had a long meeting and they're great, right? Wonderful person. They're like, look, man, you've got the skills. You've got the accomplishments. But I'm looking at your LinkedIn profile, and if they're going, and you know, a lot of job applications now, they're like, put your LinkedIn profile in here. Right? When you apply for a job. They're like, he's like, I don't see a lot of this stuff that I hear over the phone from you. All these other things that you're talking about that you know how to do and that you can do and you have skills that are soft skills that are not quantifiable on a resume, that are valuable to companies but don't get past an ATS. He's like, that's what your LinkedIn thing, and you got to build your brand on LinkedIn. And I was just like, oh, I have to, but I don't want to. It's miserable. It's miserable.
Yeah. Unfortunately, though, like, so I used to tell people this when like I would like train sales agents, right? Like, because I had this like mentality that like you can train anyone to be a sales agent. And like a lot of people are like, no, you can't.
Not me.
And I'm like, you can. Because like what people don't realize is that you're selling shit all the time, every single day. Like you're selling yourself. Fuck Alex, you and I, we're selling ourselves to like our audience. Like, hey, like watch us, right? Like we're trying to like, I don't know, create value to our audience. Um, so yeah, like your brand, you are like, whether you know it or realize it or not, like you are creating your brand in your everyday life, you know, choosing what you do, how you react, how you do it, whatever. Every single day you're building your brand. The whole brand thing, if you ever go into an MBA program, that's like the thing that you'll hear in every single class. That's like essentially what an MBA degree does, is it builds your brand. Um, but yeah, it is like important. Like, who is Alex and why should I hire Alex and not Jay? Pretty much.
Yeah. It makes me sad. I don't want to do it. I don't
And
want to
like,
do it.
and to be honest, like sometimes you don't have to like resort to like all the shit that I like rattled off earlier, right? Like if you have like you, Alex, if you're like, I was in the military for 20 years, I specialized in blah, blah, blah. Then outside of the military, I continued that and did blah, blah, blah. Like you're probably going to be in the upper percentile if you're staying in like the same career path, right? Like, so I think once you have the, like, I don't know, your foundation, once you put in your years, then your kind of like resume, all of your shit like kind of speaks for itself. But like if you're trying to like get into like a new job industry area, then like it's gonna be hard as fuck. And I think that's when like you have to use your tools, you have to use AI, but then you're going to have to find a way to stand out. And that's like something that all the Microsoft people told me, or told our entire group, is like, we see thousands of people like all the fucking time. Like what, like when you leave the room and it goes right back to the trailers in the movie theater. If you think about it, when you leave that movie theater after watching a 2-hour movie,
Yeah.
watching 7 trailers, what is it that's going to make you remember that one fucking trailer?
It's a good
That's all you
point.
have to
Actually,
do.
that's a great way to bring it back. Chat question. Jay, you built homes for homeless vets. Question.
Yeah, I just like responded to that. Sorry.
Oh.
Yeah, so I worked with the architecture professors and also students. It actually became like one of the class projects to design tiny houses for the homeless veterans. It was a college club. I obviously was not an architect student, but I like building shit. So yeah, we got a team of students, mainly architecture students. We raised up money and built enough for 2 tiny houses as homeless, or not as homeless, as proof of concepts. We were awarded land by Port St. Joe, which like owns the majority of land in the state of Florida, which was really great. We presented our plans for the entire community. And I'm not gonna lie, like this was like just before I was getting like actually accepted into the engineering program, because you know you have to do your kind of dumb classes first and then you get accepted into the program. It really, I'm not gonna lie, like it really crushed me when we lost our land due to like politics. And because I asked, because all of a sudden the land was gone. Like, sorry, we have like other plans for the land. We can't let you build a tiny house community here. And through like other channels, I was like, why is this? And they're like, well, so and so just got elected, and you know they don't want to build tiny houses for the homeless. And that's something that they really harped on, was just homeless. And they would always leave off the veterans part, because you can't say I don't want to help homeless veterans, because that I feel like in politics is fucking
Bad idea. Yep.
So yeah, it was a political thing. Someone got elected and killed it. And that was like a real passion project of mine that really kind of crushed me. And I was like, you know what? I'm going into the engineering program. Sorry, you, the new president, take this, run with it. I'm done. And then the club fell apart after I left, and it was sad.
It's a bummer. All right, chat. We've been rolling here for about an hour and 17 minutes. So I'm going to give you guys one last chance. If you have any questions about anything you saw this week or anything you saw in the news, any stuff on YouTube, social media that you want us to talk about, go ahead and throw it in the chat right now. We'll try and get to it now in here this last kind of 10 minutes of our show. I really do like your hiring as movie trailers analogy. I'm going to use that later. You know what? That was it's a great pull together. And you know what? You're not wrong. You're not wrong. There is a parallel there. There's a really good parallel there. So, yeah, folks, if you want to throw some stuff in there, go ahead and do that now. Right now, the VA is talking to me about possibly changing careers. That's a whole other ball of kittens. Because I have a brain injury. Which is true. So yeah, that's a whole other thing that we're thinking about doing. Yay.
Okay, that's cool.
You know, the question is can you switch gears at 42?
I think once you start saying shit like, I can't change careers at the age of 42, I think that's when you truly start aging. Because like, that is such a like negative, contagious mindset. Because like, think about it. I'm 36. 36 is actually kind of old. You can transition whenever you want. 36 is kind of fucking old to transition if you want to look like a very specific way. You should have done that like 18 or younger if you could. But like in your teens, your early 20s, 36, shit, should you even like try to transition?
And again, like, well, and the thing has been changing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is, you know, people make jokes that, you know, 30 is the new 25, you know, and I honestly believe 40 is kind of the new, it's different. You know what I mean?
40 is different
Than it
now.
used to be.
Yeah.
So it's just a thought. I do want to do this. Did I see the DoorDash delivered to the McDonald's to the White House? Yes. But the best part about this story is this, right? DoorDash does this staged delivery of McDonald's to the White House while President Cheeto is talking about the no tax on tips rule, right? And that's all. I mean, and they admit that it's staged, right? No, the president did not get on an app and actually order DoorDash and have a random DoorDash driver come to the White House. It was somebody that DoorDash and the White House worked together to pick, and she was like, I love the no tax on tips and ... Okay, it was staged. Okay, but it was a thing, right? It's a political stunt. They did that. The best part of that story is this, though, right? And I'm going to bring this up, okay? Was the response to it, right? Because do you remember a few weeks ago when the McDonald's CEO took that little itty bitty bite of the hamburger and everybody made fun of him, right? Everybody started responding by actually eating hamburgers, right? So, in response to the DoorDash incident, our friends over at HelloFresh issued an official statement. Yes, this is real. From HelloFresh, we considered dropping off a HelloFresh box at a very famous house, painted white, but we didn't want to overwhelm anyone with step 1, preheat oven.
Oh, God, that is so good.
It's savage. It is savage.
Oh, God.
Okay. I'm sorry. That's just hilarious. And
That's great.
so the other part of this, and somebody brought up that it was staged. Well, yes, it was staged. Then the DoorDash PR guy had a very public meltdown on Twitter. Okay?
I did not see the.
Everybody was being like, dude, it's staged, it's a joke. And the DoorDash head of public affairs is telling people to go outside and touch grass. Right? like, it got ugly. Okay. And it starts with, it starts here, right? DoorDash grandma, a paid actor. Okay. And he just loses it, right? She's actually from Arkansas, right? And he starts losing his crap on people. His name is Julian Crowley, right? And OMG, you got me. No one was claiming that it was a real delivery. Of course, we would speak to Sharon, but Sharon spoke for herself. Like, he starts, like, open responding people on Twitter, right? And so HelloFresh trolled him, and then their PR guy just lost his crap. And it was funny, right? Because it was a stunt. And especially right now, in this political environment, there's a war going on, and DoorDash, you're pulling a stunt with delivering McDonald's to the White House. When the White House is doing this thing, and it was the other funny part about when Trump came out to pick up his Dasher order, he's trying to focus them on the no tax on tips thing, because in case you guys forgot, yesterday was tax day, right? So he's trying to get everybody focused on taxes. What does the media want to ask about? The fucking Iran war. Right? And so he's getting peppered with Iran war questions. He's like, but no tax. And it's like, dude, you're not there right now. Okay? Like, it's done. Okay? It's one of those things that, like, I don't think it befits a full segment. It was funny. Again, to me, the HelloFresh thingy was the best part. And then the PR guy loses his crap. It doesn't denote a whole segment. And quite frankly, it was that. And the other story I saw that I was covered was Melania's surprise press statement about not knowing Jeffrey Epstein, right?
Oh,
the biggest
God.
unforced error in the fucking world. Because literally the White House had actually successfully kind of distracted everybody from the Epstein shit with this whole bombing Iran thing. And then she just is like, let me talk about it, Donald, right? Like, to the point where SNL made fun of it this weekend. Like, should I tell them I not know that? No, I don't think that's a good idea. Bringing this up, probably not. And now they're talking about it again. Now they're showing pictures of Melania with Ghislaine and Epstein, and everybody's going, wait a minute. Why the fuck did you... And the reason she came out is there's another model who was recently deported, right? Who is the former partner of one of Trump's cabinet members, right? And... the fact of the matter is, she says she's got all the tea, and now she's overseas, and she's talking to fucking foreign newspapers about it. So everybody thinks that Melania was trying to get ahead of whatever she's about to say. So, but we'll see. What's the next movie I'm going to see? I need to see Super Mario still.
Yeah.
Devil Wears Prada is coming out here in about 2 weeks.
Heck yeah.
Jay, what's your next? I'm going to bring my AMC app real quick.
I'd say probably like Devil Wears Prada.
They're bringing Project Hail Mary back to 70mm IMAX for anybody that really wants to see it in 70mm IMAX. I've actually been meaning to go back and watch it again. Yeah, Devil Wears Prada and then Mandalorian Grogu. Oh no, Mortal Kombat 2. I will go see Mortal Kombat 2. I saw Mortal Kombat 1. Is it an Oscar film? No. I don't care. I want to watch Carl Urban beat up Baraka. Okay? I want to watch Hiroyuki Sanada, who does Shogun and is amazing in that show, suddenly be Scorpion and yell, "Get over here!" Okay, sometimes I just want dumb fun. Oh, fuck, there's another one too. I'm going to go see the Michael biopic. In fact, I might go see that this weekend. The initial reviews are out on the Michael biopic. Apparently it's fucking amazing. Which it's Antoine Fuqua, so that doesn't really shock me. That it's well directed. It's actually Michael Jackson's nephew is who's playing him.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
If you've seen the trailer, it's uncanny at points. You're like, yeah, I see it. This movie apparently stops. They originally were going to do it in one film. Now they split it into two. So this movie stops right after Thriller. So sometime in the mid 80s is where this movie ends. So yeah, we're getting into the time of year where my AMC A list really starts getting used. They are discussing its accuracy. I think the question you're asking is, are they going to talk about what happened at the end of his life or the stuff that happened toward later in his life? I think so, but that won't be until the next movie. Because that stuff doesn't really start happening until the late 90s. Kind of Neverland Ranch weirdness. And I don't know how far down the road they're going to go. That was always the question with this movie. Is if you talk about it, which you almost have to do a biopic on Michael Jackson, how do you do it? Because if you do it and make it kind of look like you don't think he was guilty, then you're going to make a lot of people upset. You're also going to make a lot of people upset if you depict it like he did it. Because at the end of the day, what do we know? There was a bunch of settlements and a bunch of criminal cases that never were prosecuted. So he was never, ever in a court found guilty of anything. Right? So I don't think you can say with any like definitiveness what he did or did not do or what level it went to. Okay? No one knows. Okay? Or very few people know. I don't know. Do I think he did it? Probably. Probably. I think that Michael Jackson was an extremely talented and an extremely, like a lot of very famous, talented people, a very talented and very disturbed individual. Would you agree with that, Jay?
And that is why we will never become famous.
It's a very short list of people who are like, I look at and I go, you're famous, and boy, I'm glad nothing ever, like Steve Martin. Right?
Keanu Reeves.
Like Kevin Bacon, he's been married to Kira Sedgwick for what, like 35 years?
Sure.
Right? Tom Hanks has been with his wife for like 30 years. You know, there's the occasional like high profile star that you just, there's no whiff of anything. Right? Ever. Right? But I'd say that's the exception. I think to be that kind of famous, you have to a certain degree, be a narcissist.
Yeah.
Like you have to really, really like yourself to get to that level of fame. And I think it's almost unavoidable. And here's the thing, the funny thing. You can tell which ones don't have it. And like, speaking of like younger stars, I don't know if you've been following any of this, because like the whole Zendaya, Tom Holland, have they actually gotten married yet? Nobody knows, or are they just like, she's so caged. She and Tom Holland are so private about their private, right? They don't want to make a big deal out of anything. And they're an adorable couple. I'm rooting for those two.
Oh, yeah.
Go Zendaya and Tom.
Go
Zendaya and Tom.
Go Jira.
You know. Do I think you can come back from some of it? Yeah, look at Robert Downey Jr. That motherfucker went to jail. He was almost unhireable. Right?
Yeah.
Like, he had wrecked his career completely. And now he's back. He's fine. You know? So, yeah, Steve Martin, Martin Short, you never hear anything about them. You know? Again, I think I've done this as a topic I want to say before. And maybe we'll do it again. This might be one we could touch on every so often. Is How do you separate art and artist? In fact, I know we've talked about this topic before because we've talked about it in the Harry Potter context, right? They released the trailer for that new Harry Potter show, right? Putting aside that I don't think you need to remake Harry Potter right now. I think it's still a little fresh, right? But putting that aside, can you separate the work, the world, from the creator? Right? J.K. Rowling is a twat. Okay? She just is. Okay? And she's drank way too much of her own Kool-Aid, and she thinks she's far more important than she is. And she may have inhaled deadly mold spores. We don't know. Okay? But especially before she became such a giant twat, a lot of LGBTQ people really identified with the Harry Potter novels. There was a huge fan base amongst the LGBTQ community.
That was the weird fucking part of it, was like LGBTQ people, like, they were like, oh my gosh, she gets us. Like, she gets it. And then she was like, watch this.
Well, and she is the definition of TERF, right?
Oh, yeah.
And
she's happy about that.
And she's the definition of, and I know there's groups because I've seen these groups, the LGBT no T.
Yeah.
Have you seen those groups?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But swinging it back around, and again, maybe we'll talk about this next week. I'll throw it in the thing next week. Again. Because I don't think we've ever done it as a formal topic. I know we've discussed it around there, but yeah, can you separate, did you see the trailer for the new Harry Potter thing, Jay?
I have not. No, I was in Japan, and then I've been trying to catch up.
From just a pure production standpoint, it looks great. No comments on J.K. Rowling, no comments on whether it's gonna be good or whether I think they should be making it. What I'm saying is, it looks solid, right? And you are going to be able to explore a lot more if it's a season per book, right?
Oh, yeah.
An 8-hour season gives you a lot more fucking time to work. And I know there was a lot of fans who were irritated about a lot of the shit that got cut out of the movies that were in the books, right? It looks good. Again, I don't know if it's necessary right now. Warner Brothers Harry Potter's not making them any money right now. They need to do something with it.
Yeah, I mean, like, I could see them remaking it to distance themselves from J.K. Rowling if they were trying to do that.
Well, and she obviously has lost some of her power because for the movie, she insisted that British people were played by British actors. That ain't happening this time, right? Yeah. I got a homeboy from 30 Rock playing Dumbledore.
And also during I fucking forgot what it was, like the 20th anniversary of Harry Potter or some shit, she was not invited. Like the entire cast and crew and everything were fucking there, and she was not invited.
Yeah, because they all fucking don't like her.
Oh yeah, but like to not invite the creator is like, I like that. That definitely showed me that like she has lost power somewhere in her, like, I don't know, her own like ownership of this world. So
yeah, like I said, I think it's interesting that the Harry Potter movies came out after Star Wars. We haven't remade Star Wars, but we're remaking Harry Potter, right? And again, Warner Brothers is in kind of a different position than Disney is that Disney's still making money on Star Wars. Warner Brothers isn't really making any money on Harry Potter right now because the 3 other movies they made didn't do that great. And I'm going to be blunt. It's the Wizarding World. It's bad world building. Aside from the core story, right, of Harry, Ron, Hermione, and their adventures defeating Voldemort, the tertiary and the training world building around it is not good. It's just not good. And so you run into this problem of how do we set something in this world where the world building is just kind of garbage. Right? No, I don't think they should ever reboot Star Wars. There's no reason to reboot Star Wars ever. Although I thought about doing this, but there's not, again, there was a lot of news that came out that's not enough for a segment. They're doing new Star Trek movies. Okay? Paramount announced it this week. They are doing another Star Trek movie. It is not in the Kelvin timeline, so it's not going to be Chris Pine and those guys. It's something new. There's rumors about who they've got writing the script right now, and that's where they're at right now. They're trying to write a script. So, no, we're not rebooting Star Wars ever. But yeah, Harry Potter's, it's garbage world build. The world building is just not strong. It's just strong enough to make it believable for kids. If you start to peel away at her world building, does she still have that stupid Pottermore site where she like tries to have all the other information?
There she does, yeah.
Yeah. If you peel back on her world building at all, it's not strong. You know, it's just not. It never was. So.
In other worlds, I got a tattoo in Japan.
Oh, did you finally get your first one?
What? My first what?
I thought that was your first tattoo.
No, this is my third tattoo. Oh my god, Alex, what the fuck?
Where did I miss the other ones?
The other one I got at a block party in Seattle next to a like Seattle dog stand or something. Then the second one I got,
because these are all new.
Yeah, the second one I got like back in October.
Okay.
And then this one I got on Saturday. So.
Are you happy with your tattoo from Japan? Oh, that's nice.
It's a little like Japanese Mew, which I guess like you could say that like it's upside down. This is horrible. I guess you could say Mew is Japanese since it's an anime. But yeah. What are you looking at, Alex?
I'm seeing if there's anything else out there to look at. All right, folks. We've been up for too long. We all love you. Harry Potter's just a Star Wars knockoff. I saw that bit. That guy's comedy bit about how Harry Potter is just Star Wars is hilarious. It's funny. I love it. All right, folks. We'll be back next week, hopefully with the proper rundown next time. Jay will have a little more back from Japan rest. I know I've been hearing things about their jobs all week, about how crazy it is over in the land of the real world. But thank you all for joining us tonight. Make sure you follow us on the Twitters, the Facebooks. Check out, I've got some YouTube videos coming from last week's show. I just haven't had time to do thumbnails and stuff, and life's been kind of chaotic. So, but we love you all. Goodbye.
Bye.